The first thing we have to recognize is that there is a possibility that genetics can cause illness. But in the data that we have today, less than 10%, maybe even 5% of the people in the world that are sick, 5% might be a high number, are sick because of their genetics. So I say, okay, good. You want to work on genetics, you're going to work with 5% of the people. But you have 95% of the people who came here with very good genetics and still they get sick. So you can't blame the genes for these illnesses. And yet, that's the only thing we look at. And when my research started to show that the environment controlled the fate of the cells, then I started to say, well, wait, but what if humans change their environment? And all of a sudden I started to recognize this is exactly the mechanism by which people heal themselves. They change their response to the environment, how they behave in the environment, and when they do this, they take power over their genes. Well, this is so exciting for me because conventional science, I teach you're a victim. And the new science, I say, no, you're a master. You're a master because it's up to you. You can change the environment. And if you change the environment, then you control your health. So rather than teaching victim, I am much more interested in teaching mastery of your life. And I get very excited because over the years, people have always demonstrated if they have a change in belief or they change the way they live, they find that they change their health. And this is exactly the point. And this becomes important for me because when you believe you're a victim, you give up on your health. And when you believe you're a master, then you work and you change your life and you can get your health back without drugs. And this to me is the most important thing in the world. Ultimately, I believe all illnesses are curable. But it also depends on the belief system, not just of the individual, but the belief system of the community. And it's very important because we find that in this world, it isn't one person that makes a difference. If I could sit here right now and say, I want peace in the whole world, and it's like, nothing has changed. But if you get a large number of people and they say the same thing, then we end up with peace in the world. So what we find is something called a mass population influence. The more people that believe in something, the more that thing can happen. So if you look at our world today, then I say, well, what do people believe about health in the mass? And I say, when you ask the whole population, most of them believe they're victims. So it's very hard to be a person who wants to make change when you live in a world where everyone around you says you can't make change. So, but when you start finding more people surrounding you that believe you have power, then you begin to express your power. So this, I think, is the most important thing about why it's more difficult to make change when everyone around you, including your doctor, says that you cannot do something. Because if that's what you believe, and since life is based on what you believe, your perception, if you believe you're a victim, even though you're not, you become a victim.